Hello, I'm Tally47. Welcome to my Redstone tutorial for a Redstone countdown timer. A little bit of backstory and disclaimer. Uh, I'm pretty new to Redstone. I've only been doing Redstone for about a month, and during that time, I was trying to make a mini game that needs a countdown timer, and I couldn't find any tutorial that would work for me. So I made my own. This is what I've made for my Redstone countdown timer. It's, and again, I'm still new to Redstone, so maybe not the most efficient, a little bit of a disclaimer. But anyway, without further ado, let's get started. So basically, what I needed my mini game to do was to count down a minute timer, and the timer is right here, and then to show the players how much time they have left using redstone lamps. And then, once that was all through, I needed the game to reset itself and also turn off, all with a click of a button. It's all going. The only thing that the player needs to do is press this button to start the game. So right now the game is off. How we do the timer is that when the game is pressed on, redstone will come this way through the repeater. I'm just going to walk you through it step by step so that way you know what is going on, especially if you're a beginner. If you already know redstone, you can probably figure out what's going on. This is very simple, but it's also very complicated for a beginner. I would know. I'm still a beginner myself. So, when you press this button, the redstone comes through. This is the way to turn on the game. So the first path comes over here, goes to the repeater. The repeater is here to keep the signal going. It comes to here and it activates this piston. This piston pushes the block over here, and then which doesn't allow for this redstone torch to send a signal through. The way I have mine set up right now is if the game is off, this is powered. All right, so next, so the next line of redstone, when you press the game on, it comes this way, turns on, and this will activate this piston, pushing this over, which will activate this redstone. And when this redstone is turned on, it turns off this torch. Okay, so you can see it here. When this redstone is turned on, it turns off the torch. When the torch is on here, if you want that to be on, this needs to be off. So what that means is that, well, first of all, these torches are here to lock the hoppers. If the torch is on next to a hopper, it locks it, right? This one's off, so this one is unlocked. So when this is turned on, when the game is pressed on, this block is moved over here and it lets this redstone signal come through and it turns this torch off, unlocking this hopper. And this is where we have all of our stacks. It's basically the timer. This is about a minute, give or take a couple of seconds. If you want it more accurate, do a little bit of testing. And then when the game is also pressed on, this pushes the block this way. So it unpowers this, so it powers this hopper. So basically what we're trying to do here with these two groups of pistons is that we're trying to unpower this hopper where the stacks of items are and then lock this one. So we're trying to power this hopper to lock it. So that way these items will move from this hopper to this one and then they'll stay in this hopper because it's locked. We have a comparator here. It reads the signal that's in the hopper. So it reads the amount of items that are in the hopper. It determines how full it is. And then that slowly fills up this line of redstone here. When the line of redstone gets to here, so about 20 seconds, this turns on. And then 20 seconds later, about this one turns on. And then 20 seconds later, this one turns on. And that one happens when I think almost all of these items are in this hopper. Once this one turns on, it also sends a signal to this repeater to turn off the game because it sends a signal back over here. And what this one does is, or activates this piston to push this block back over here. So it turns on this hopper to relock the items into here. This is basically the reset button. The redstone also comes along here and powers this piston to push the block back to unlock this one. So what happens is the items that are in this hopper gets unpowered, so it becomes unlocked, and then it comes into this hopper, and then back into their original hopper, where it is locked now because of the reset. And this is how I have the hoppers. You have to place these hoppers. You can see that they're going into the other. It's just going in a circle here. So how you do that is you shift and click the one you want it to go into. Coming along the reset button, it also sends a signal to this piston, which turns off your game. So why don't we see this in action? Can't explain everything forever, you know. Sometimes you just have to see it work to understand. So we click the button, light turns off, the game is on in my case. The piston's pushed this block over, so this redstone torch is on to lock this hopper. As you can see, for some reason my game doesn't automatically update it, but it says this hopper is locked. This one is now unlocked because this redstone torch is off. Because this block was pushed over to send the redstone signal through to turn it off. To turn the redstone torch off. And the game is going. So at 40 seconds, we're seeing that this redstone is slowly being powered. Another one just got powered, and we're waiting for one more to be powered. Once that one gets powered, you'll see the whole game. Yep. All the pistons activated, this whole thing lit up to push this back, to relock this hopper, to push this block back, and unlock this hopper, and to push this block back to turn off the game. And it is almost done, and it's gone. Nothing is left in this hopper. 2.5 stacks are back in this hopper, and the game is completely reset. So to build this countdown timer, you need 13 redstone repeaters. A minimum of 7 is required. 1 redstone comparator, 6 pistons, 5 redstone torches, 4 hoppers, 4 redstone lamps. Well, I'm sorry. 3 redstone lamps. This one is just a visual for the game being turned on and off. So you only need 3. 1 bud, some redstone dust, and some basic building blocks. Now let's build it together. Put your button down where you want it to start, and then run a line of redstone from it. We're going to start with the turning on the game. So you place redstone here. It might not look the same. In this case, we show that the redstone lamp is turned on when the game is on. All right, so now let's continue on through. And we're going to go to the pistons over here. I'm going to actually extend this out a little bit more. Oops. So we need this hopper to be unlocked. So this has to be off here. And the redstone repeater always comes after the piston set. So that way it can read the redstone signal through the block. And then this redstone signal goes into this block. And there's a torch on this side for the hopper. For the hoppers, we want this one to be locked. But we need to place some hoppers first. Because as you can see, it's not going the right way. So the hoppers need to be arranged in this position. Whatever one it feeds into. And then we break this one and we put it back. Shift and click on the one that you want it to go into. See, now this one is going into that one. All right, so now we have to do the same with this. You have to redstone torch, some dust. We're just building the another set of pistons. We want this signal to be on, so the block has to be there. So it turns off this torch. Now, we need a comparator here to read the signal strength of this hopper. And then we need a line of redstone dust. At the moment, how I have this one set up is that we have, the more dust you have, the longer this line is, the longer your timer needs to be. So the more items you have to have in here for the power to go all the way to these two repeaters. So at this moment, we have 3 dust. 1, 2. Repeater here, and a repeater here. And then we'll put another repeater here so I can turn it off right away. Send this line over to this piston. Since this line is too long to reach the piston, it's more than 15, we'll add a repeater here. And then we also need to reset the hoppers. So we add redstone to this piston and 1 to this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, I put a repeater here, so it elongates the signal. And we also need our block, so make sure you put it in the hopper with the redstone torch activated. 2.5 stacks. And now, if we turn on... Oh, I just realized I didn't even run the redstone here. Redstone needs to be ran there. I don't know what I was thinking. Redstone needs to be run here for this piston to activate. So now there should be redstone going to each of the pistons. Yep. All right. Now, press the button, see if it works. All the pistons activated. These blocks are going into here, which is locked. Redstone is being powered. That went off at about 20 seconds. And we see here that this one's being powered. I have this one set up differently than that one over there. This one's being powered, so that means the game is on. 40 seconds. Got about just under 2 stacks in that one. And the minute is up, the game's turned off. It's resetting all the items in the hoppers, so the lights are going down. And it works. So now let's see it in action. As you can see, I do play on a modded server, so don't be alarmed by the fact that I'm wearing gloves and a backpack and goggles. Um, this is a modded server, but the redstone itself is vanilla. So we're going to see it in this mini game I have built. It is very ugly right now with only cobblestone. It's currently a work in progress. You can see it looks very different here, but that's okay. So when you press this button, it sends a redstone signal down through here, and you can see the pistons set up. This is the one that activates to turn on or off the game. And then the redstone signal also comes into this piston, which would lock this hopper. I do have cobblestone on top, so nothing falls in while I'm working on construction. And then I have the other piston here to turn that hopper off. I do have these hoppers in a slightly different pattern. Do you see that instead of going clockwise, they're going counterclockwise? I had to do that because of the space that was down here. I just didn't have enough room to put another set of pistons over here without the redstone interfering. So I did it this way, and it was super easy to do. You just make sure the hoppers are going into the opposite direction, and then instead of this one being locked when the game is off, we have the opposite one being locked when the game is off. Does the exact same thing, just in a slightly different layout. So there's the piston setup for this hopper. And then redstone signal can go up half slabs. So this is sending redstone signal up these half slabs and into the redstone lamp way up there. And then also there's a note block here. So there's not only a visual, it's also an audio cue as to how much time you have. That's why I did that. And then once this redstone is all done, it turns off the game here by sending a signal into this repeater, which sends signals back into both piston sets over here and to this one here to turn off the game. So, I know, confusing, it's a mess down there, but let's see it in action. Again, this is a modded server. Now, so again, this is a modded server, so there are create stuff. This is a create mod mini game. But basically, when you press this button, it makes those saws go around. And you can press this lever to reverse it. It does have a delay on there. When the game is on, it spins the saws. When it's turned off, the saws will turn off. There's the visual and audio clue as to how much time you have left. You got about 20 seconds less. And there it goes. So when that dinged and that last redstone lamp turned on, this turned off and the door opened, allowing whoever's left and alive to leave. Safe. To leave as winners. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that was easy to understand. and can help in your mini games or whatever projects you have. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye bye.